Sometimes, as humans, we tend to forget to give honor to whom honor is due and give people their rightful place in the annals of things. Today, we are going to take a look at the pioneering gospel group in Nigeria called the Voice of the Cross, which was made up of Brother Lazarus Chukwuma and Brother Emmanuel, who started way back in the 70s and has brought the gospel music genre to the heights of popularity that others are riding on to become megastars and superstars in the scene. But we need to dig back and give honor to this duo because their efforts that seem so far not very recognized. Welcome to this podcast as we introduce Voice of the Cross. Welcome our new listeners and thank you for our previous followers and returning viewers that have been with us. I'll take a break now for the new listeners to subscribe. Click on the subscribe button if you like what you're doing. Like this video so that it can reach to a larger audience. When we come back, we'll dig right into the Voice of the Cross. Voice of the Cross were known for their unique blend of traditional Hebrew music, high life, reggae, and gospel, as well as their faith in God and their gratitude for His grace. They also use their music to preach the gospel and to address social issues such as corruption, poverty, and violence. They started singing together in the 70s and became very popular in the 1980s and 1990s, producing several albums and songs that inspired many Christians across Africa and beyond. Some of their notable hit songs include Sing Hallelujah, Joy of Salvation, Thank You for Saving Me, Satan is in Trouble, and Good Morning, Jesus. The duo of Brother Emmanuel and Brother Lazarus met very early in the 70s in a church in Aba, and they were in their very early 20s. And when they discovered that they were musically compatible, they decided to come together as a duo to sing gospel music, to deepen their faith in God, and to propagate the gospel through music to reach a wider world beyond their location in Aba. That's how they started out. And between that time and the time they disbanded, they were able to release several albums, including English spiritual songs that was released in 1975, Joa Onwe Kia Juju in 1977, Sing Hallelujah in 1978, Onyenwe Anyị Gabia 1979, Out of Christ 1982, Greatest Selection of Voice of the Cross 1990, Satan is in Trouble, an undated year, Echebula Onweki, another undated date of release. So these are the albums that this duo released over the years. Songs that really made Voice of the Cross very popular across the world include Sing Hallelujah, Thank You for Saving Me, Satan is in Trouble, Good Morning Jesus, Joy of Salvation. These songs are still being sung in households, in churches, in fellowship across Nigeria, Africa, and even across the world because of the uniqueness of what this duo put out together, blending the different forms of music and their traditional influence as Igbo singers, traditional high life into contemporary gospel music that has influenced the new generation singers like Frank Edwards, Sinach, Nathaniel Bassey, and a host of others. The Voice of the Cross, after releasing those albums over the 70s, 80s, and the early 90s, disbanded in early 2000 when both singers relocated to the United States of America for different reasons. Brother Lazarus later came back to Nigeria upon the death of his father and continued singing, but this time around with his son, Lazarus Chukwuma Jr., as his partner, while his other partner, Emmanuel, remained in the United States as a reverend and is reported to be having some health challenges. But once in a while, they still had to come together for special projects as they featured in the Lost Chosen Charismatic Revival Movement program in 2022 as an original duo. Even though they did not seem to have cut across the younger generations or across as a very popular music group, Voice of the Cross won several awards for their music, such as the Best Gospel Music Group at the Nigerian Music Awards in 1988, the Best Gospel Music Album for Sing Hallelujah at the Nigerian Music Awards in 1989, the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Nigerian Gospel Music Awards in 2010, the Choral Voice of the Cross Award at the RACM Voice of Life Chorister Award in 2021. This award shows how much their gospel music was appreciated and celebrated by those who actually knew and followed them. Voice of the Cross remains the group that has, fostered a lot of faith in people because of the way they see the depths of their singing, and they are respected by those that actually followed and know them within Nigeria and beyond. Their songs are still sung across homes and churches amongst Christians today. Their legacy of faith, hope, and love has, has remained a lasting legacy for those that are following their footsteps. In terms of the labels they work with during their career as recording artists, Voice of the Cross released their earlier records on Anodis record, the Ababes record label that was also responsible for the release of several of the hit songs of the 70s and part of the 80s. Then in 1982, Voice of the Cross released Out of Christ with Jamia Records. Later, they formed their own label called Voice of the Cross Records, where they released Greatest Selection of Voice of the Cross in 1990 and also Satan is in Trouble. We cannot really overemphasize the importance of this singing duo and what they've done to propagate our faith, to deepen our faith, to propagate the music in terms of gospel music in Nigeria, giving us songs, so many songs that are still relevant in our life. We talk about songs like Glory Be to God, What Manner of Man is Jesus, Sweet Jesus, King of Kings, This is Your Time, Walking in the Light of God, and Remember That Day, Are You Ready, The Grace of God, and On the Way to Calvary. So many songs by this group that we tend to sometimes take for granted that probably they were just generic songs somewhere. But most of these songs that we sing every day in our morning devotion, in our evening prayers, can be traced back to this group that we have not given so much recognition, we have not given so much acknowledgement, talking about Voice of the Cross. We'll continue to speak about them because they deserve our honor, they deserve our recognition. So currently speaking, the Voice of the Cross, they're still alive. Brother Emmanuel is still in the United States of America. Brother Lazarus is back in his native Imo State in Nigeria, where they later released a compilation called Gospel Highlight Music. We thank you for staying with us on this very episode of Music in My Ears, where we remember the gospel duo, the pioneers of gospel music in Nigeria, Voice of the Cross, made up of Brother Lazarus and Brother Emmanuel. You stay tuned as we bring other episodes to you. Once again, do well by subscribing. If you're a new subscriber, if you're just coming across our channel today, do well to subscribe to support us to continue to bring us beautiful contents that will enlighten you about the music history in Nigeria in terms of every genre that Nigeria has experienced right from independence. Thank you for staying with us on this episode. Peace.